Jermaine was on his third strike, and the sun was nowhere he can get to in minutes. Exploring all the best possible outcomes, Jermaine copped out to 9 to life. He contemplated on taking it to trial because he felt like it was a chance that the deceased would have died from the initial contact. Not to mention, no one seemed to care or acknowledge that it was Jermaine who was being stalked and shot at. The whole thing just seemed so random and plot twisted. Meanwhile, back home, everything was in shambles. Everybody processing things as best they could, from the kids to the adults. 4-year-old Ayana wondering why daddy never came back after leaving to get her cake. 5-year-old Mill waiting for dad to come back, like that kid still waiting on the bench. 9-year-old Peace just missing dad and trying to figure out what this means for the family. Mom taking it the hardest as she's missing and needing her man, on top of having to make everything feel normal and calm for the kids. Like a mother, Anika did the best she could to keep her family well and together. Before Jermaine got locked up, he saved up $20,000 in his safe. He used 10 to pay for his commissary and for his phone calls. The other 10 he left for Anika and the kids. So she had $10,000 and her man had 9 years to life. Feeling like life wasn't giving her a fair shake, Anika had never felt so alone and lost. And though initially Jermaine didn't want the kids to know where he was, they both decided it'd be best to bring him on visits. At least he could maintain a relationship with him. Plus, Jermaine had signed his state ready papers, which meant that he would be going upstate soon. Jermaine knew that he would see his family less because of the time and distance, and he just didn't want to be a burden. The last county visit, before being shipped upstate, he requested only to see Anika in peace. At the end of the visit, he spoke firmly and directly to Peace. He said, "Listen, Peace, I know there's a lot of things you don't understand right now, just as well as I know that there's a lot of things you do understand. But look, I'm going to be leaving soon, and I'm going to be leaving for a long time, but I will one day be back. But until then, I'm going to need you to do something for me. I need you to watch after your brother and sister. I need you to be the second in command. I named you Peace because I knew you'd be practical, efficient, achieving, composed, and equal. But remember, you're the author of your own story, so never be afraid to add value and meaning to life." Peace sat there in the daze, as if he was talking to Aristotle himself, or like Moses asking God, how is he supposed to get the people to listen to him? When Peace got up, his shoulders felt a bit heavier and his journey a bit distant. Jermaine and Peace embraced one another, with Jermaine's last words being, "I love you, son. Happy 10th birthday." Peace had turned 10 a few weeks back, and though he was just 10 and in the 5th grade, he was already reading and comprehending at a 10th grade level. Meanwhile, Anika's world was in turmoil. She started going to church less and work more. I mean, she could use the money, but the extra hours in work was to keep busy to keep her mind off of the hurt. Anika figured the more she worked, the more she can keep her mind off Jermaine. Anika's normal but strange behavior had even alarmed her siblings, Mason and Nefertiti. They both felt like Anika was losing her faith and needed to come back to the church. On the other hand, Anika felt like she was being ill-judged and misunderstood. She felt like while everyone was judging and about things that they hadn't been through themselves, who could actually give a hand? A couple of days later, Anika had got a letter from Dannemora, New York. Jermaine was now in Clinton Correctional Facility. When she opened the letter, it didn't make anything no better. Jermaine was on keep lock, which meant that he couldn't come out of his cell. His first day there, while walking to the mess hall for chow, another long line of inmates was going the opposite direction. One of those inmates bumped into him, causing him to turn in that direction. As he turned, one inmate had cut across his ear, while the other one shoved him onto the floor. Everyone on both sides just kept walking in like a military file, and so normal. Before Jermaine could even gather himself to what had just happened, a CO was right there, escorting him to the infirmary. Jermaine had needed 20 stitches, and though he remained composed and realizing that they were initially going for his face, the sergeant had put Jermaine on keep lock for 30 days to get a sense of what was going on. Jermaine, on the other hand, had pieced things together real quickly. Knowing that the word travels fast in prison, Jermaine had a high profile case, and it was all over the news. Furthermore, this was an act of retaliation by some of the victims' affiliates. Anika wept as she read, remembering the times when things were good.